Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Samyukta Yes, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE at SJBIT. In this video, I'm going to explain you about the communication system. Communication system is a system which transmits an information from an information source to the destination. Okay, so in order to perform the communication operations, we have to make use of the elements of the communication system. So the elements of the communication systems are information source, input transducer, transmitter, channel, receiver, and output transducer. Okay, so this is the modern communication system scheme, which consists of input and output transducer, transmitters, receivers, channels, and all. So let us discuss these particular elements one by one. So first one is the information source. Information source is in the form of sound, that is human speech, or it may be in the form of picture, that is image source, or it may be in the form of words, that is text. However, out of these messages, only the desired message is selected and communicated. Okay, so this information source is fed into the input transducer here. A transducer is a device which converts one form of energy into another form. Here the input transducer will going to convert the physical quantity into electrical signal. Okay, so the input to the transducer is a message signal that will be converted into a message signal, which is called as a baseband signal by the input transducer. Okay, so then this baseband signal is fed into the transmitter. So this is the block diagram of the transmitter. The input to the transmitter is the baseband signal. So let S of t be the baseband signal applied to the modulated stage here as shown in the figure. Here to translate it from low frequency to high frequency spectrum, S of t is superimposed upon the high frequency carrier signal, that is C of t, which is generated by the high frequency carrier oscillator. Here the output of the modulated stage is called modulated signal, that is X of t. This signal is then applied to the amplifier stage. So here we have two stages in the amplifier stage. One is the voltage amplifier and another one is the power amplifier. Here the voltage of the modulated signal is amplified to drive the power amplifier stage, and the power amplifier amplifies the power of the modulated signal, that is X of t, and thus it carries enough power to reach the receiver stage of the communication system. Okay, and finally the signal is passed to the transmission medium or the channel. So we all know that basically a channel means it is the medium through which the message travels from the transmitter to the receiver. So the medium through which the message travels from the transmitter to the receiver is called channel. Channel is very important part of a communication system because most of the noises are added to the signal during its transmission through channel here. So depending upon the physical implementation here, the channels are classified into two groups. One is the hardware channel and another one is the software channel. So coming to the hardware channel, it is also called as a line communication. These channels are man-made structures which can be used as transmission medium. There are three plausible implementation of the hardware channel. One is the transmission line, second one is the waveguide, and lastly it is the optical fiber cables. Okay, so transmission lines are twisted pair cables used in landline, telephone, and coaxial cables are used for cable TV transmission. Coming to the transmission lines, they are not suitable for ultra high frequency, that is UHF transmission. Waveguides are employed as medium here. The signal enters at waveguides are reflected at metallic walls and propagates towards other end of the waveguide. In optical fiber cables are very thin circular pipes, signals are transmitted in the form of light. So coming to the second type, that is the software channel. Many natural resources are used as the transmission medium for signal. Such transmission mediums are called software channels, for example, air, space, seawater. So here no physical connection between the transmitter and the receiver. So transmitter passes the signal in required form to the software channel. Signal propagates through natural resources and reaches the destination. So most widely used software channels are air and space here. Signals are transmitted in the form of electromagnetic waves called radio waves. So this radio waves travels through open space at speed equals to the light, that is c equals 3.6 into 108 miles per second. Transmitter section converts electrical signal to electromagnetic waves by using transmitting antenna. And receiver section, receiving antenna is used to convert them to electrical signal. So this system is called radio communication system. Example, radio broadcast. Okay, so here in the channel there will be a noise. So noise will be added to the channel here. So we all know that. So noise is an unwanted electrical signal which do not have any useful information. Okay, so there are two types of noise, that is the internal noise and the external noise. Okay, so after this channel the signal will be transmitted to the receiver here. So this is the block diagram of the receiver section of the communication system. So the main function of the receiver is to reproduce the original message signal. Okay, so the reproduction of the original message signal is done by the process known as demodulation. Okay, here the signal received by the receiver, that is R of T, due to attenuation, R of T is a weak signal. Okay, so the voltage amplifier amplifies to make strong enough for further processing here. So in demodulation, the baseband signal is separated from the high frequency carrier signal. So after recovering the original baseband signal, its voltage and power is amplified and finally it is sent it into the destination block. Okay, so this is how the communication system will going to work. Okay, so there are mainly two types of communication system. One is called as the communication system based on physical infrastructure, and another one is the communication system based on signal specification. Okay, so based on physical infrastructure and signal specification, again the communication systems are classified into two types. Okay, so based on physical infrastructure, it is classified into two types. One is the line communication system and another one is the radio communication system. Based on signal specification, it is classified into four types actually. So analog communication system, digital communication system, baseband communication system, and the carrier communication system. Okay, so in the line communication system, here it uses power lines to transfer data from one point to another point. So there is a physical link called as hardware channel between the transmitter and the receiver. So example of line communication system is landline, telephone cable TVs. Okay, so coming to the radio communication system, here the information is carried across the space using the radio waves. So example is radio broadcasting. So based on signal specification, the first type is the analog communication system. We all are familiar with this. So here in the analog communication system, exchange of information between the 2 points will going to take place through analog signal here. For example, audio, video and picture. So coming to the digital communication system, here the exchange of information will going to take place between the 2 points through the digital signals, that is audio and HDTV. Okay, next is the baseband communication system. Here the baseband signals are transmitted without translating. So without translating means without amplifying to higher frequency. Okay, example is landline, fax machines, etc. And lastly, the carrier communication system. Here the baseband signal, that is the low frequency signal, is mixed with the high frequency carrier signal. Example, radio, voice message and calls, etc. So this is about the communication system. Thank you.